Hi, beautiful people. Welcome to VAP Fashion's YouTube channel. My name is Eunice. So, today we'll be learning how to make this beautiful BUBU gown you see on the mannequin with fringe on the hem. It's a very simple tutorial to make, and this gown is actually beautiful. I know you like it because I love it. Okay, so kindly stay tuned while we get right into the tutorial. So, before we proceed, ensure you subscribe. Please, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. And if you're already a subscriber, this is me saying thank you for supporting this channel. So let's get right into the tutorial. So I'll be using my Adire fabric and then my satin fabric and also my fringe. Those are the things I'll be using to achieve this lovely boho. So to get started, I'm going to be folding my fabric with the biggest measurement I'm working with, which is the hip measurement. The hip is 42 divided by 4, that's 10.5 plus 4 inches. So I'm going to be adding 4 inches to the hip measurement. That will give me 14.5. So I'm going to go ahead to draw my starting line, which is going to be the shoulder line where all my measurements will start from. So I haven't done that. I'm going to mark 3 inches on that shoulder line where you see me marking, and then 8 inches to create my shoulder slant. Okay, our shoulders are not straight, of course, it's slanted, so I'm creating my shoulder slant. So I created my shoulder slant. I'll go ahead to enter the actual shoulder measurement. This client's shoulder measurement is 16. When you divide by 2, you have 8 inches plus half inch, that's 8.5. Half inches for joining our sleeve. Okay, so having done that, I'll go ahead to mark the chest line, which is the armhole line. So to get the chest line, you divide the bust measurement by 6 plus 1.5 inches, and the bust measurement of this client is 39. 39 divided by 6, that will give us that's 9 divided by 6 plus 1.5 will give us 8 inches. Okay, so I'm going ahead to draw the waistline, the hip line. The full length of this gown is 58 inches, and then I'll also be using a hemming allowance of 2 inches. So basically 58, and then I'll go ahead to mark 2 inches for my hemming allowance. Okay, so this is me just drawing out my horizontal, my vertical lines to indicate. So that's the hemline. Okay, so having done that, I'll go ahead to enter the horizontal measurement. So I'll be dividing the bust by 4. Bust divided by 4, that's 9 3/4. So I'm going to be adding a sewing allowance more than the allowances we usually add. At the bust, I'm going to be adding 3 inches to the bust measurement. This is because I want this bubu to be really free, so it's not going to be fitted at all. It's just going to be free to give the straight shape. Okay, so I'm adding 3 inches to the bust measurement. To the waistline, I'll also add the same 3 inches I added to the bust measurement. Okay, so here's my 3 inches. The hip measurement is 10.5. That's 42 divided by 4. That's 10.5. So here add, and then I'll go ahead to add 4 inches. So whatever I have here, this 14.5 I have here, I'll take it all the way down straight. So 14.5 also on the hem. So I'll get my ruler and then connect the points. So I added 3 inches to the bust measurement, added 3 inches to the waist measurement, but to the hip I added 4 inches. So I'm just going to use my straight ruler to connect this line. This. So can you see? So now I'll go ahead to create my armhole. Okay, so I'm going to be creating an armhole for both the front and back on this point. So I'll get the midpoint of the armhole, which is 8 divided by 2, that's 4. So here I'll go in by half of an inch and then 3/4 of an inch, which is going to serve as that of the front. So then I'll curve it to the actual bust measurement. And then I'll also come here So now we have our armhole. This is going to serve as my back piece. Remember that the front has fringe, and then this is actually full length. The front will not be full length, rather, sorry. Okay, so the neck width I'm using a neck width of 4 inches, and then a neck depth of 1 inch for the back. We're just going to curve it. Okay, so this is what we have for our back. So I'm just going to place another fabric and cut for the front, but I'm going to be subtracting 15 inches from the measurement. I'm going to fold up 15 inches. Remember that this is hemming allowance. So from here, let me mark my 15 inches because my fringe is 15 inches long. So here I'm going to be subtracting 15 inches from that measurement. So this is what we're going to have. So what I'll do, I'll place this on my fabric like this and then cut out exactly what I have here. After cutting out my front piece, this is what I have. Can you see? It's shorter. It's shorter with the length of the frame. That's minus 2 inches, which is my hemming allowance. So this is 15 inches shorter. So I actually added half inch to the hem here. So that's for fixing the fringe and also turning the lining. So that means it's 14.5 inches shorter because of that extra half inch. So now for the front piece, I'm going to retrim the armhole. Remember that we went in by half of an inch for the for the back armhole. I'm just going to go in a little by quarter inch, just a little, okay. And then I already have my front neckline, my back neckline. So for the front neckline, I'm going to be using a neck depth of 6 inches. So if I already have 1 inch here, so that means I'll go down by extra 5 inches. So this is my extra 5 inches. I'll just use my curve to connect it like this. Okay, so having done this, I will take note, I'll measure the armhole because this will determine the width of my sleeve. Remember that the allowance I added is not the regular 2 inches that we use. So here I have 12 inches. So that will be the width of my sleeve or fold. That's the cap's height, the armhole area of my sleeve. So I'm just going to keep this aside and cut out the sleeve, and then we'll go ahead to cut out our pockets. Sleeve. Now I have the fabric that is up to 12 inches. So I'm just going to place like this. Now the length I have here, I have 14 inches, and the sleeve length I'm looking for is 13 inches. So I'm just going to curve it now. So my sleeve is bigger than normal. So at these 12 inches I have here, I'm just going to take away 1 inch at this point and then slant it towards the armhole, that's towards the sleeve cap. Okay, so here, so this is how big my sleeve is going to be. So I'm just going to cut out the second one, and then I'll cut a fabric that is 14 inches long and 14 inches on fold, and then 14 inches long for my pockets. So after cutting out my pocket, can you see how my pocket is? It's 14 inches long and then also 14 inches wide. Okay, so I have two of them, and then I also have my basic sleeve, okay, which is bigger than normal because I'm making a BUBU. You can see the same thing for this one. So now I went ahead to cut out these black strips that I'll be using to turn my basic sleeve. Okay, so here I want to sew this from the badge, that's from the wrong side like this, and I'll be using crinoline to help it stand Okay, so I want to use it to achieve this turn up on the sleeve area, but I'm going to show us how I'm going to apply crinoline. I'm going to sew crinoline to this place so that the sleeve can stand well. And I also cut out several of these strips because remember the picture I showed us from the beginning. In front we have these strips in front. Okay, so now can you see what we have? This is my front piece. So I want to have this triangle shape, an upside down triangle shape in front of the gown. Okay, so can you see that this part is slanted and then this part is also slanted? So now this is what I'll be doing. Take note of what I'm going to do because that part is wrong. So now this is what I'll be doing. I'm going to place it like this. I'm going to place it like this. So what this means is that I'm going to be cutting this way. So take note of it. So I'm going to just place them together like this and then slant it this way. So that means the part that is going to be down is not the part I'm going to go inwards by. It's at the upper part that I'm going to go inwards. Can you see? So having done this, this is what I'm going to have. So I'll join them together, I'll sew them together to achieve this shape. So I'll need two of this. So after joining them together, I'll go ahead to fold in half inch to neatly finish it up. And then also I'll do the same thing on this side. Then I'll come and show us, then we'll top stitch it here. So we're going to have two of this. One is going to be down and then the other is going to be higher. So by the time I'm done joining it, I'll show us how to fold it. Okay, so for the pieces I'm going to be using to achieve this V shape, you can see I've gone ahead to fold it, and then I went ahead to sew on half inch. Okay, so it is easier this way. You fold the half inch, that's your seam allowance, and then join it together. So I'm just going to be placing it like you have seen me done this one. So I'm going to be placing it this way. So I'll take my measurement from here, which is below the armhole. Make sure that they are aligning. So here, from here, 5 inches, I'm going to place it here. I'll pin it down like this. And then also I'll come here too and make sure that I have the same 5 inches on this side. So making sure to maintain my center line. So this is actually my center line, okay? So I'll just go ahead to pin it. Okay, so I'll pin all of it and then go and top stitch it. So for the sleeve, can you see I've attached my crinoline to the right side of the fabric, and then I've also gone ahead to sew my satin fabric. So this is what I'll be doing. I'll be folding it like this, and then I'll fold in half of an inch. So I'll bring in my iron and press it well. So this is what I'll be doing, and then I'll also top stitch it. So I'll do that to both of them and top stitch it. The essence of this crinoline here is to give it that strength so that the sleeve is not falling. Let it just stand well. Okay, so I'll do that for the two, top stitch it and come back and show us. After top stitching my satin fabric, I went ahead to fix the fringe. So you can see the head of the fringe, that's the, am I going to call it the seam line of the fringe? Everything is inside here. I placed the fringe on the good side of the fabric and then I placed my lining. So you can see that it's just the long parts that are showing here. Okay, so that's that. I'm just going to go turn the neckline, sew the neckline on half inch. I'll just be sewing it round and then I'll turn the side seams, join the shoulder and fix my sleeve, and then I'll show us how to fix our pockets. So I've gone ahead to fix my sleeve, you can see, okay, and I've also used hemming gum to tape to hold down the neckline. So this is my pocket now. I'll be going up by 6 inches from this side. I'll be going up by 6 inches from this side. My pocket is on fold, remember? So I'll go up by 6 inches. So here's my 6 inches. I'll notch this point and then I'll mark 1 inch. 1 inch. So I'm notching to my 1 inch. Then I'm going to create a curved shape like this here. This 1 inch, I'm just going to create a curved shape all the way down to the end of the pocket. So I'll just cut out this point like this. Okay, so this is it. So now this is the down part of my pocket. So when I fix my hand, it will be like this. So this is the down part of my pocket. So I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and then I will sew this way. Now take note, this is the good side of the pocket. So meaning that this is how it should be on my dress. That's on facing good face of the fabric. So what I'll be doing now, I'm going to take my pocket like this and then flip it to the good side. So when I flip to the good side, I'm going to top stitch this part on less than ½ inch. That's like ¼ inch. I'll just go ahead and top stitch this part. After top stitching this part, okay, let me top stitch this part and show us. I've top stitched my pocket as you can see. So now the next thing to do is to flip, turn it to the wrong side. So can you see what we have now? So for this part, which is the upper part, I'm going to take it in like this, and sew. So I'm going to also do it from the wrong side. I will sew on ½ inch, but I will leave 1 inch from the tip here. This is what I'm talking about. So I'm going to sew this way, stopping 1 inch away from the end. So after sewing my pocket in like this, and then I have it. So what I will do now, I'll just go ahead and top stitch this point and also top stitch this. This is so that when you put your hand in the pocket, you don't access the seam allowance. So I'm going to be sewing to cover up the seam allowance. I will do the same thing here too on this side. I will not sew on my 1 inch. This 1 inch is for joining it to my gown. Stitching my pockets. You can see I have my opening now here, and then I went ahead to weave also. I've also gone ahead to sew the sides of my gown. So right now I left an opening of 6 inches. I came down from the shoulder to the waistline, which is 16 inches for this person. Okay, so I'm going to take my pocket now and show us how to fix it. This is the down part of the pocket, so this will face downwards. Okay, remember I sewed on 1 inch seam allowance. So after weaving this, I have less than 1 inch. So remember that I have an opening of 6 inches, that's from here to here is 6 inches. And then what I have here, the opening I have here is 7¼ Okay, so I'm going to be taking ½ inch upwards from this point and then ½ inch downwards from this point. This is so that from the right side of the gown, you don't see where the pocket starts from. Okay, so I'll come here now. I'll go up by ½ inch and then place the pocket like this. And then of course on this down part, by going up by ½ inch, it means that this part will also just go downwards by also ½ inch. So can you see what we have here? And I'm not pinning exactly on my seam allowance. I went in by like ½ inch. Remember that when I wove, I have just ½ inch. So this part is going to give me that space that will completely conceal the pocket so that you don't just see it when you are looking at the dress, so that it's just invisible, and then when the person puts her hand in the pocket, you get to see it. So this is what I have here, and then I'll also do the same thing on this side. So I'll do that. So can you see, this is what my pocket, so I'll top stitch this part and also top stitch this part. So I'll do the same thing for the second side. I'll go ahead to close up this part. Remember that our gown is 15 inches shorter. The front is 15 inches shorter than the back. So I'm not just going to leave my seam allowance hanging like this. I will fold it this way. That's folding in my seam allowance of 1 inch. Top stitch it this way and then bring it this way. This is so that it hides it inside and it is neatly kept. So I'll do that and show us what we have. So here is the final look of our boo-boo. You can see how beautiful it turned out. I hope you enjoyed making this video with me. Kindly give me a thumbs up, like this video, comment, share with your friends. Bye. Thanks for watching.